Hey my friend, welcome back to a new video. As November ends and December slowly begins, remember this, my friend. You're like the rose that grew through the concrete. However your path was, there's a theme that was happening most probably in your life, and you need to watch this before tonight because there are 10 energy themes that are ending right now on this planet, and it feels a bit challenging, but we need to be reminded of where we are going. So I said you're like the rose that grew through the concrete. Everything you survived this year has made you stronger, clearer, and more prepared for what's coming. So that's also why I'm sharing today with you the painting called Rose That Grew Through the Concrete. I'm an artist behind this channel and I share my paintings with you that are related to the message. So everything you survived this year has made you stronger, clearer, and more prepared for what's coming next. December brings a new kind of energy, which is lighter, more supportive, and more aligned. The right people and opportunities are already moving toward you. And what you need to do is to trust the timing and to stay in your lane, to stay in your power, to trust what is unfolding without trying to control it. You've pushed through pressure, doubt, and delays, but you didn't break. You bloomed. Can you resonate with this, my friend? If yes, hit the like button. Drop a comment yes if you resonate with this. Let's see how many of this kind of roses are out there. So tonight marks the moment where the path ahead begins to open in a new way. And I'm wondering how many of you feel there's almost like a shell that was around you, protecting you from all the chaos, but was rooted in fear. And now that part of you is shattering, falling off. Like now you're willing to step into the unknown and be surprised and be amazed and not being so afraid to get hurt anymore, because you know that you need to be open for new opportunities in order to experience breakthroughs. So the first energy theme that is ending right now for so many people is that need to say yes when our body is saying no. So what is happening, people are breaking the old pattern of pleasing others at the cost of themselves. And you know, there's this beautiful Zen proverb that says, when you walk, walk. When you sit, sit, but don't wobble. So what does it mean? It means that we need to be very decisive. We need to be clear on what we're doing, which means we need to be aligned with our bodies. We can't live our lives too much just reacting, too much just pleasing others, too much just doing what we think that will be okay for others if we are suffering because of that. When we walk, we walk. When we enjoy, we enjoy. When we help others, we help others. But when we need time for us, we take time for us. When something doesn't resonate, we say no. And we clearly express it. So tonight, wobbling ends. Clarity in your body begins to speak with ancient precision. Why? Because you are choosing to listen to your ancient power, to your ancient voice that was never wrong. We've just suppressed it because we thought it's okay, because that's how we've been used to live. But one way is just to stay alive, right? To keep everything okay. Another is to truly and fully live and to make sure that you will make something great out of this life, because that's how you can also be a great support for others. Also for those who to whom you've always said yes, well, many times people then use you because they don't respect you. They can't respect you if you don't respect you. And saying no when you mean no is a great form of self-respect, and that's what people feel. But yeah, not everyone will be okay with that. Now, not everyone will be happy with that. That's why you also need to be prepared that not everyone will like you, and that's okay. When you walk, you walk. When you sit, you sit. When you decide, you decide. Don't be somewhere in between. You can't stand on two sides at the same time or on two mountains at the same time. You need to decide where you are. The second energy theme that is ending right now, and just before I say it, I need to remind you that when certain energy themes are ending because the frequency is rising on the planet, echoes of it are still present. So in the next few months, you will still maybe feel it. You will still do the things you know you should stop doing maybe, but they will not be so powerful anymore. You will notice how much more control you have around these things because you've been doing so much of your inner work. So the second theme is feeling pressured to move fast. This is ending right now because the root pressure is at its peak. The collective is addicted to speed. And what you've been noticing most probably in your life, if you've been moving on with the evolution of consciousness and ascension that is happening right now, is that it's time to find your own pace. And there's a false sense of urgency that is pulling you away from your own pace. And when you discover your own pace, everything just clicks and happens in beautiful alignment. As Lao Tzu reminded us, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. He reminded us of the great wisdom, nature knows the way, universe knows the way. So your job is to feel the pace of your nature, to feel the pace of your evolution and follow it and follow its guidance because it speaks to you from within. That's why it's so important to say no to things that don't resonate with you because maybe they're just not aligned with you, and you need to respect your own energy because not everything is here for you. But if you say yes to what is, then more of this kind of things will open up and come to you. That is powerful. The third energy theme that is ending right now is distrusting your inner authority and defaulting to the mind. So the mind has been ruling like a tyrant, and intuition has been whispering. So what is happening right now is that our inner voices are becoming louder because we are slowly learning to detach from mind's chatter. It doesn't mean that we'll lose it. It doesn't mean that mind's voice is bad or wrong. No, we need logic. We need strategic thinking. It's all nice. We need memories. They help us to discern good from the bad or right from the wrong. It's all great with that. But if we constantly live in our minds, then we live disconnected from our bodies. But what if our bodies already know way better than the mind? What if our bodies are way older than the mind? It's hard to understand that, but there's an inner compass that is not mental. It's in your heart. It knows the way. And that's why Rumi said, the quieter you become, the more you are able to hear. So my message for all of you is today, may the higher and wiser you lead away. You're very multidimensional and you need to know that. So Not everything is how you think it is. Most of your thoughts are coming from your environment. That's why I said your body is way older. If you look at the DNA, as science says, we carry in memories from many generations. Like epigenetics says, from 14 to 16 generations, but quantum physics says from the beginning of time. So our bodies deep in our DNA are way wiser than our programmed and conditioned mind. So the quieter you become, the more you're able to hear. And therefore many of us are now beginning to trust our inner authority, because in my life, my inner feeling was never wrong. And I'm not talking about emotions. Like, I'm not reacting to my emotions. I feel them. I know I'm not what I feel. But when it comes to my inner knowing, my inner authority that says to me, hey, there's something wrong, or it says to me, hey, you should do it. Like it said to me to painting. For painting, when I've started painting, I knew this is my way. And even now, when sometimes very attractive opportunities are presented to me, sometimes also incredible financial opportunities are presented to me, I ask my feeling, is this aligned with my path? And if the answer is no, I say no to it. And sometimes it's hard because it's attractive for the mind, but I need to say no because it's not aligned with my heart. So this is what it means that we start trusting our inner authority, because it's never wrong. You see, we came here with a plan. Now we are slowly uncovering it. And that's why you should trust your inner authority. So the theme is that sense of distrust and just following your mind is slowly dissolving. It's not that the sense is dissolving, but that need to know, to know that you always need to have certainty. Mind needs certainty. Heart doesn't need certainty, because it knows that it's guided. And therefore it trusts the unknown easily. Why? Because it understands that the greatest pleasure of life is to be surprised positively. And to be positively surprised means that we have no attachments to how something should be, and therefore everything is our teacher. And if everything is our teacher, everything tells us something more about ourselves, and that is a positive surprise. Oh, I've learned something more about me. Yeah, we are not so negatively surprised anymore, because everything just teaches us something. That's how our souls got richer with wisdom and experiences, and we came here for that. So we need to learn to live more in alignment with that inner authority. The fourth energy theme that is ending right now is tying your worth to productivity. This is ending right now, and in December you will notice that actually more of your worth comes out of who you really are, out of how playful and creative and authentic you can be. This teaches you how incredible you already are without doing anything. So not to motivate you to be passive, but actually to help you see that productivity doesn't make you more powerful or important. Yeah, it can make you more skillful, which is great. But when you can also be unproductive and still okay with yourself, you will find a sense of peace. And then in that sense of peace, you will find the inspiring pull. And that inspiring pull will take you maybe onto a different journey. And so many of you are already following it. Now there's no idea of how it should be, because it should be unique. And no one can tell you how it is, so it doesn't need to be something spiritual or mystical or any of that. Whatever calls you, and that's your path. But you need to be reminded of what ancient Arabic saying is saying. You're not a machine, you're a garden, right? You're a garden. So you need to take care of you. You see, all of you who are gardening know that even Earth needs time to rest. That's why we have winters. Farmers know that for certain fields they need 1 year of rest in order to have a rich season then the next year. And for us it's the same. We're not machines. We need to rest and digest and recharge. So we need to learn to cultivate that inner state of peace and harmony that activates parasympathetic nervous system, so it starts rejuvenating, right? So may tonight be a beginning of you stepping into more natural rhythm, not society's pace, to find your own natural rhythm. And you know what it is because you step into it and it feels good, right? Feeling good is feeling God. Remember that. And it never mistakes. Because you will see that even whatever feels good today may not feel good tomorrow. That's why you can't get addicted to what gives you a good sense today, because tomorrow that same thing will maybe not give you that. Like today you may feel I need to rest all day, but tomorrow if you will rest you will feel like I actually want to create something, and you start creating. It means follow your intuitive spark, and it will keep you in your nature, in your natural rhythm. I know it's hard to understand for the mind because mind is used to receive orders. Like so many of us we've been growing up in a conditioned environment, then we've been through school educational systems, then we got a job or more jobs, and all this time we've been just hearing what we need to do. We've been listening orders from others. Like this is what you need to do and this is what you need to do. So we never develop this inner muscle to know what we need to do, to say to ourselves what we need to do, that, sense of inner authority. Except if you've been like always feeling there's something wrong with the system, there's something wrong with school system, there's something wrong having a job and just following orders. Well, I want to be my own boss. Maybe you felt like that for most of your life. I did. I had many jobs in my life until I got my dream job and I was still empty. Like I thought, well, it will be more fun. It was fun, but I still needed to follow orders of someone else. So when I quitted that job, I decided, well, I will give orders to myself. I will do what I truly feel passionate about doing. But then I've noticed, well, it requires an incredible amount of discipline because no one ever taught me how to give orders to myself. So I needed to learn that. That's why so many people, when they go into their own journey, they don't succeed because they don't learn this part of discipline. But that's what it means to follow our inner authority. We also need to build discipline. Powerful discipline, not to tie it with constant productivity, because that's not discipline. Discipline is following what I know that I need to do, doing what I say I will do, but also doing what I need to do. Because sometimes we can say, well, every single day I will wake up at 4 a.m. but then after 1 month you notice, well, I haven't been sleeping enough. And now I need to cut my routine a little bit and I need to rest more. And if you're too rigid with yourself, then something will go wrong. So you need to be aligned with your inner authority to always know what is the right thing to do. Within you there's a voice of wisdom and you need to listen to it. Then the fifth energy theme that is ending tonight: fear of disappointing others when setting boundaries. Now, I'm not saying this will just leave you tonight. I'm saying you're stepping into a greater way of communicating with others. So, Chinese proverb says, "He who trims himself to suit everyone will soon whittle himself away." And I know you've experienced that in your life. The heart center is recalibrating right now, and people are afraid to be disliked. So what I wish for all of you is to restore the authority of your true self, something I've talked about today. You know who you are. You know what is good for you. You know what is right and healthy for you. And you know that for that, many times with certain people, you will just need to set boundaries. And some people will not accept that. I know in my life, when I needed to set boundaries, some people crossed them many times, and I was very disappointed. I was angry. I was very angry because it was on my pace was suffering. My work was suffering because of that. And I've noticed, well, as much as I'm consistent with my workout routines and with my work and with my art, I guess I need to be persistent with setting this boundary, and I needed to say 10 times or 20 times until a person finally understood it. And now we have the most incredible relationship because of that. But yeah, firstly, that person was offended and triggered and thought that I dislike him. But you see, when we live in a certain community or family community or however it is, sometimes we need to do this kind of things, or our neighbors or our family members, however it is. Like, I had this kind of moments in my life when I needed to set strong boundaries, and I was procrastinating on it because I was afraid of being disappointed. But I've also learned this is the only way for me to feel okay, to feel at peace, to feel like I have my own space. It was a long time ago, but it changed me forever because I've started trusting my inner authority. I said, well, if I was able to do it with this person, it was very heavy, I can do it with anyone. And that was a very powerful lesson for me. Hard one, very tough one, but empowering one. So, he who trims himself to suit everyone will soon whittle himself away. Make sure this doesn't happen. Say what bothers you. And if people don't agree with you or don't accept it, still say it. And protect yourself so you maybe can heal, so you can protect your maybe inner peace or whatever it is. And then the time will come when you will more easily be able to communicate around what needs to be done or said or whatever. The sixth energy theme that is leaving you right now is feeling mentally lost or unclear about the next step. Because you're finding out that you don't need to be clear about the next step. When the time for the next step comes, you will know what to do. That's why, in ancient Africa, there was a wise man who said, if you do not know the way, walk slowly. This is the truth. If you do not know the way, walk slowly. So, for many of us, our mental center could be overloaded with pressure and a lot of information and just this fast pace that the world is in right now due to everything that's going on and this fast evolution of technology and everything. We have this sense that we need to figure out life. And then maybe you come across people that have figured a little bit more than you and you think everyone has figured everything out. But they didn't. No one knows what is going on. We're just guessing. Maybe deep inside we know, but it still doesn't mean we live that knowing. Because living a knowing is a great mastery that not many people have accomplished yet. So, what's my message for you is to release the grip to a need for figuring everything out. And trust more that life will take care of everything. Direction starts coming from the body when you are present in your body. So when you're not so much in your mind and overthinking, you take few deep breaths, you return back into your body, and immediately you will just know what to do. So I've started a meditation school where I've simplified certain practices, so we start very from scratch. And I've made one meditation where we just focus on one center in the body for the entire meditation. And that helps you to really ground yourself into the body in the present moment. And if you do it, you will know exactly what to do next, because you will become so present and connected with your body that you will notice there's no overthinking anymore. You just know what to do. You can find it on our Patreon community. The 7th theme that is ending right now is burnout from living as someone who needs to generate all the time, who needs to create or do all the time, just because you think it's the only way to manifest maybe abundance or great results. So I don't know if you're familiar with human design. In human design, there's actually a character generator. Like, some people are generators and they're naturally good with generating many ideas. And many people said, I am generator because I can generate so much. But then sometimes people that are not generators still compare themselves with generators and they think they should do everything the same way. We need to know our nature. In human design, there are also projectors, there are manifestors, there are reflectors. And those are all different energies. We need to know who are we. You can look into human design and see who are you. It will help you a lot to understand your energy. We just need to know that when we are in our nature, we are the greatest manifestors. Because we're not trying or forcing to be like someone else, we find out what works for us. Which means no one can truly give you an advice what you should do, because only you can find out what's best for you. That's why I like to remind people, hey, stop listening so much to what people are saying to you what you should do, and actually start finding out what fits you more, and do it in that way. But that requires a lot of trial and error, that's why people are avoiding it, but sooner or later we come to it, because we notice my greatest teacher is life and my personal experiences. Yeah, following advice is great as long as it works, but then sooner or later we need to come back to ourselves and listen to ourselves. So Taoist saying says, the leaf does not try to be the tree. You should not try to be like your neighbor or like your mentor or like your teacher. Sure, they're great inspirations and they have something in them that reminds you of what is still as dormant potential within you, but your way will always be different. So the shift that tonight brings is you return to your natural energy blueprint. That is your greatest power, your natural energy blueprint. The 8th energy theme that is leaving you right now is impatience. Oh yeah, how many of you are ready to let it go? It means forcing outcomes instead of waiting and stepping into alignment. Not waiting, I will leave that word out. No, instead of being aligned, forcing outcomes instead of being aligned. I'm here to help you to align with you, with your pace. People are pushing without invitations, timing, or resonance. And then, Chinese proverb reminds us nothing blooms all year. We need to remind ourselves, we are living in a reality where everything moves through seasons. Not each season is for blooming, right? Some seasons are for resting. Then there are seasons for planting. Then there are seasons for nurturing. And then there are seasons for blooming. And then back resting. So we need to remind ourselves that not all the time we should bloom. Not all the time we should nourish. Not all the time we should plant. And reading the season of our life is one of the greatest ways to be aligned. So in what season are you right now? Are you in a season of resting? Because many of us are, like the whole world right now, could move a little bit more into a season of resting. That's when we receive downloads. Those are like seeds that then we plant, and then we move into the next season of planting, which in practical language would mean starting new projects, starting new businesses, or if you're already working on a business, elevating it into a new, more sustainable or simplified way, or whatever is your thing. And then it's nurturing, building new systems, and deepening communications and relationships so things can work better and maybe without or with less effort. And then blooming season, manifestations happen and your hard work is paying off. We live in a reality that works through seasons. So many of you are returning tonight back into divine timing, where what is meant for you cannot be rushed, and you just need to know that. The 9th energy theme is emotional waves, feeling heavier than ever. This is also ending slowly, slowly, because emotional authorities are purging decades of suppressed energy. Emotion is energy in motion, and there was a lot of suppressed emotional energy within us. Suppressed anger, suppressed rage, suppressed sadness, suppressed envy, suppressed worry, suppressed joy, suppressed happiness, all of that. And whatever comes out because it was suppressed. So don't think, I shouldn't feel it. I shouldn't feel anger. You should feel it, and you should express it, not unto others, but in a healthy way, like scream out loud if you need to. No, your body doesn't feel these things for no reason. It feels it because it was within you. Let it out. You see, let the storms make trees grow deeper roots. So know that all these emotional storms that you feel will deepen your relationship with yourself if you let them to feel them, if you let them to be felt. Sit with it. Sit with it, feel it, and you will heal it. That's the magic. So tonight, the wave begins to settle and clarity rises after the cleansing. So have compassion towards yourself, have clarity towards yourself. No, have kindness towards yourself, and you will find clarity within yourself. Yes. And the 10th theme that is living is identity confusion as old conditioning dissolves. So who you thought you were is falling away, and the real you is emerging. In Vedic teachings, they said, when the false self burns, the true self rises. It's like the story of the phoenix. From the ashes it rises, right? And ashes are like past, hurts, false beliefs about who we think we are, and limitations and fears and ways we've been protecting ourselves so we would not be seen because we were afraid of being hurt. All these things need to die so the courageous you, the loving you, the kind you can be born. So let tonight initiate a new cycle of identity aligned with your design, not your past. It's a great time to sit with you and ask some deep questions. Like just yesterday, I've shared with you in our Patreon community some very deep questions that can help us to reflect deeply on our identity, on our self-worth, on our conditioning, on like what would you feel if you allowed this moment to be enough, and so much more. It can help us to let the past die so the true self can be born. Those are very deep things, and I wish for all of you to let all of this to happen, because you will see there's something magical that gets born within you every time you allow it to rise, to be born. So let it, my friend. I will leave you here. I hope you found a great value today. To all of you who feel like that rose that grew through the concrete, I feel you, my friend. I felt that same way. That's why I've created this painting, to inspire you that no matter where you've been planted there for a reason. Maybe to be an example for someone, maybe to discover your strength, maybe just to know that no matter the circumstances, you are the captain of your ship. You can do anything you set your mind to. And when you choose with power, you can manifest anything. So, I will leave you here. I hope you found great value today. And to anyone who resonates with today's painting, you can get it on AttractPassion.com. You can find all of my paintings there, all of my art there, so go and check it out. You can find prints of my art, which is more affordable option, and also regional paintings. So check it out. Also join our Patreon community for more exclusive content, and YouTube membership if you would love to become a part of the community and support this channel. Thank you so much, my friend. Until next time, one love.